Welcome to episode 19 of Dad's Rank Things. I'm Jones.
I'm Tyler.
And today we kick it off with one of your guys' suggestions about the best movie soundtracks of all time. Now, a lot of times when you're watching a movie and you hear the song, you think this is pretty kick-ass. Now, but what movie has the best songs of all time?
Yeah, I think there were a lot of different ways to look at this. Just looking from some of your Facebook comments, some of you went with a good quality score. Others went with a collaboration of different songs that you might think, I don't remember hearing that in the movie.
Right.
Doesn't matter, it's still on the cool soundtrack.
Just on the album.
And then some of you fused the two together with your answers. So
I did have nuances, though. I will say I didn't do any scores. Having a good quality score to me isn't necessarily something I want to listen to over and over again. It might be catchy in a movie and make you feel emotions, but I don't know if that's necessarily a great soundtrack.
So I actually think that we could do a separate ranking for movie scores.
That's true.
The best movie scores. And I went, weirdly, I went the same way.
Same way?
I really left scores out of it and went with just soundtracks. And I'll explain kind of my approach to this, when it's my turn.
Okay. I'll start with my number 3, and that's Space Jam. Laugh if you will, but released in 1996. This was it had some jock jams on there.
Yeah.
With the original track Space Jam. Now, I Believe I Can Fly. Say what you will about R. Kelly nowadays, but that was a classic.
A classic tune.
It was the headliner on that soundtrack because that's one that everybody knows. But I will say Seal's "Fly Like an Eagle," which was the first track on there. This whole CD is, believe it or not, the one that I've listened to the most out of any musical collection in my lifetime.
As far as soundtracks go, or just in general?
In general. The CD I played on repeat in my teenage years, so I memorized the entire thing, including Hit 'Em High.
There could be worse songs or worse soundtracks you listen to on repeat, I guess.
I will say Hit 'Em High was like the Monstars of 90s rap. It had Coolio, LL Cool J, Busta Rhymes.
Yeah. All-Star
and Method
Team.
Man. So all of them.
Oh, wow. Method was on there.
Yeah.
No cursing?
Oh, it had cursing.
Okay.
That was the one you could get away with. Ass was in there.
Okay, that's fair enough.
No F-bombs.
Fair enough.
Just ass.
All right. Well, so the way I ended up approaching it was I have a lot of soundtracks where I like every song on the soundtrack. But I thought to myself, am I just liking these songs because they stand alone? And then I was like, yeah. So I ended up going with my best 3 are like these movies would not survive without the soundtrack.
Okay.
It would not exist. Now, I'll also preface this, I'm not a musical guy. Okay, so you're not going to get like Mary Poppins in there or something.
Yeah.
Not for this guy. All right, they're pretty close, the ones I chose, though. Sorry. So, number 3 for me is Footloose.
Okay.
Once again, I don't think the movie exists without the soundtrack behind it. Kenny Loggins was fantastic. Let's hear it for the boy.
Yeah.
My sister made me dance to that song. I think because I was a boy, but she often didn't dress me that way. And then Holding Out for a Hero. There's just it gave the pace to the movie, and that's one of the reasons I went that way. Number 2, same thing. I'm pretty sure it got suggested on our Facebook page, but Dirty Dancing.
Oh, yeah.
The movie doesn't exist without the soundtrack. I've had the time of my life. Was the build-up song throughout the movie to the big climax. It was the movie. The movie bombed if that song sucked. And it didn't suck. It was a great movie. And it was a great song. And Patrick Swayze sings on the soundtrack, for God's sake.
Really?
Swayze!
I didn't know that.
Yeah, he sings, what does he sing? She's Like the Wind. She's Like the Wind. If you haven't heard, see, a lot of people do exactly what you did. He sings that? Yeah, that's Swayze, people.
He doesn't look like a singer.
He's not!
He doesn't look like a dancer either, but he can move.
He can.
I didn't notice the first 2 selections were dancing movies. Does that have something to do with it?
Yeah, kind of.
I guess you can't have a dancing movie without music, right?
Exactly.
My number 2 does include the guy you just mentioned, Kenny Loggins. It's Top Gun. So, Top Gun, of course, the main one we all want to hear. Danger Zone.
Yes, Highway to the Danger Zone.
That's the main song on the album, but if you listen to it, it's just like a classic 80s rock playlist. I mean, that thing you listen from start to finish, and you'll get a taste in your earbuds what the 80s was.
And they have does that soundtrack have a couple scores?
Oh, yeah.
Like tracks like 11 through 14 or whatever.
Right, that's just the music playing in the background. But yeah, I think it's like tracks
I don't
1 through
mind.
10.
I don't mind the Top Gun score. I think it's an okay score. Obviously not one of the best of all time, but it's a quality, recognizable score.
And I'm thinking of eras too, like, Space Jam was personal because I listened to it so much. Top Gun is like quintessential 80s. That's what it is. If you grew up in the 80s and you saw that movie...
In fact, I have a story from the 80s. Our local roller rink, their speed skate song was Highway to the Danger Zone. So like for me, every time I hear that, I picture like 9-year-old Tyler pumping like as hard as I can go, like come on, like getting beat by the 13-year-olds, but still giving it my all. That was me.
Do you have a bad crash story to tell?
No, I was a decent skater. I would not take any risks.
Did you go backwards?
I couldn't go backwards, and oftentimes there was this girl. Every time I went there, she would want me to like go make out with her behind the Galactica machine.
He's making that up now.
I'm not. I don't remember her name. Maybe Stacy or something. She was a blonde-haired chick.
Invisible.
I was nervous. Didn't really want to. She always asked me to do the moonlight skate, but she'd have to skate backwards because I couldn't.
Oh, nostalgia. My number one will take you back to, and that's The Bodyguard. So this is the most successful soundtrack of all time because it sold 45 million records worldwide. It won Best Album of the Year, surprise or not. It was the Grammy Award winner that year, 1992. And it's also like a Whitney Houston Greatest Hits album because not only does it have I Will Always Love You, which everybody knows it from, but also it has I Have Nothing, I'm Every Woman, and Run to You. Fun fact.
And it has Lovely Day. Lovely Day.
Yeah, has that too. Fun fact, Elvis wanted to do I Will Always Love You because it was originally Dolly Parton's, but he wanted too much money. So he couldn't do it. So that's the reason why we had the Whitney Houston. That's the reason why we had the Whitney Houston.
Thank God we have the Whitney
version. Because think if it was Elvis doing that.
It's amazing. No disrespect to you, Elvis. But
vocal range.
Whitney's coming at it. My number one is Oh Brother, Where Art Thou? So once again, first of all, bluegrass is a very unique style of music.
Love it or hate it.
I love it or hate it. I feel like those good quality music aficionados would appreciate it. And then to be able to basically, once again, tie the movie around a bunch of really cool songs. Man of Constant Sorrow, obviously, the backbone to that whole soundtrack. But Alison Krauss was fantastic. She's featured on there 2 or 3 times. A lot of people don't know the Soggy Bottom Boys actually is Alison Krauss's band. So her band is Alison Krauss and Union Station. That like when they tour, that's the name of the band. So they just kind of, I don't know if it was maybe all the members of the band. It was definitely the lead singer of Union Station. He did the voice for George Clooney's character in the movie.
It wasn't George Clooney?
It was not. And sometimes if you Google that, you realize it's not George Clooney. He does not sing at all.
Yeah,
it's this guy. But there's other just really unique bluegrass songs like Big Rock, Candy Mountain, You Are My Sunshine, which everyone knows, Down by the River, I'll Fly Away. Like a lot of just classic songs that I think there's a generation lost sometimes in those classic songs. So to be able to bring those back, and if you've never seen the movie, it's fantastic. It's an awesome movie. So that's my number one.
Who knew? Clooney can't pipe, but Swayze can.